This is a patient who has undergone multiple refractive procedures on his keratoconic eye, including phakic implant, laser PRK, cross-linking, intacs, and had very poor vision further added on by his anterior subcapsular cataract. Given that I could not measure his cornea accurately, I planned a staged cataract surgery where I would first start with aphakia and then measure him and then take him for a lens implant with higher accuracy. So here I am, removing his phakic implant, the star ICL, and my technique is always maintain elegance, come out the same way the lens went in without cutting it and dismembering it. So here we see the phakic implant coming out gently and we examine it to be complete. Now I'm proceeding with a manual capsulorhexis, and the soft cataract is out, followed by irrigation aspiration. I leave behind some cortex in the subincisional area of the bag to keep it open for a week and make it easy for my next step. At this stage, it is very important that I have a stable anterior chamber, and I'm using the Richelieu sealant, as you can see here in the dabbing technique I've described before. So my chamber is stable now, as well as for the entire week when I will be measuring his refraction to make a more intelligent choice on his lens implant to come in the next week. The sealant is in place, a nice watertight closure. This is immediate post-op.
Good morning, Jerry. How are you?
Hey, doctor, how are you? Great. Feeling good.
How are you feeling?
You know, I was amazed. I had no pain whatsoever. I mean, I've had other surgeries and I was expecting a little bit of pain. Nothing.
This is your intact, which is still in place, right here. And this is your empty bag where I removed the cataract from.
Right.
And this is the special sealant I use for your incision, so we sealed it without a stitch. And removed your ICL, corrected your cornea, left your intacts in place with your keratoconus. And now I have a bag which is sitting there for me to use a proper lens of the right power. That's all what we'll do next week for you.
So a week later, I'm entering with BSS, and the subincisional cortex that I had left behind deliberately is now coming out very easily. This patient was measured on day 1 and twice in the week to a very stable refractive endpoint, and I was so confident that I've used a toric lens implant in this case. And here the lens is seen injected into the eye and going into the capsular bag. The irrigation aspiration to remove any residual viscoelastic and any residual cortex in this high myopia eye. I'm using my two-hand technique as I've described for toric lens alignment. The lens is in place now in the bag and I'm out. I now want this incision to be very secure because I've entered it through it twice, so I'm using the Richelieu sealant in my dabbing technique that I've described before. I do not want to take a stitch, otherwise it will induce astigmatism in this very complex case that I have worked so hard on to coming to emetropia. But given that the intact segment, as you can see, is right there and we've entered through this incision 2 times, I'm using the Richelieu sealant to my advantage for a watertight sealing of the incision and the paracentesis. So in this case, we took this patient who's had multiple previous procedures with very poor vision, further superimposed by a cataract, and reversed him back to an outcome anatomically, physiologically, and mathematically coming as close to his emetropic vision as I could. Those are drops on the sealant, and this patient resulted in 20/20 uncorrected vision post-op. And is very happy with his outcome. Thank you so much for your attention.